Hey there, I'm Di, and today we continue my series of turning figurines into YouTubers using NerdeCrafter's Not Another Crap Kit. About a month ago, I posted on my community tab to see which YouTuber you guys would like to see me turn into a figurine, and the consensus was to do Jazza. So, here he is. What's that? You can't see him because he's blurred out? That's because you're going to have to stick around till the end to see how he turns out. Or you could just skip to the end to find out how he turns out. But don't do that, otherwise you'll miss all the good stuff. So why don't we head to the very beginning, because hey, that's a good place to start. I reckon you all know who Jazza is, but if you don't, he's an Aussie YouTuber who does... How do I sum this up?
I remember everyone watching this that I am a professional.
Oh, no. Get back! Stop sliding around, you slidey poo.
What's this one taste like? Oh, sweet.
I just talk so much crap.
Well, it's actually kind of hard to sum up Jazza. He does art, but it's art like no other. His art takes many forms. He creates artwork using a variety of mediums such as digital drawing, traditional pencils, markers, sparklers, super soakers, glue and chalk, rice, candles, resin and skittles. He uses mops, bleach, his bare hands, sand and red wine, wood, chocolate, jello and even ramen noodles. And that doesn't even scratch the surface of the type of content you will find on his channel. So as I'm thinking of all these different mediums and tools that Jazza uses, he reminds me of that guy. You know, he's a one-man musician, drum on the back, cymbals between his knees, harmonica around his neck, playing the guitar all at once. And it kind of gives me an idea. Firstly, I whip up a little figurine using NerdeCrafter's custom mold. I'm going to be using cos clay for the body, as when baked it stays flexible, and I need that for the fabric. In the past I've used Sculpting and it's too brittle and I always end up with pieces breaking off once baked. With a base layer down, I can start sculpting some details. Now I really want to get the fabric of the shirt looking realistic, with the folds going in the right places. So I looked up a picture of a dude in a shirt holding his arm up. The one I found had the opposite arm up, so I need my brain to switch sides and have the folds of the shirt sweeping in the opposite direction. With little sausages of clay attached, I use my tools to smooth and shape them. With the bottom hem of the shirt attached, I'm actually pretty happy with how the fabric's looking. I feel like I'm getting it looking close to how I want it. But something's a little off. I just can't figure out what. I move on anyway and get to work on the jeans, popping in some seams where the fabric should be joined and pockets. While I'm doing that, it occurs to me finally what is off with the shirt. My brain did not switch sides, and I've got the fabric sweeping in the wrong bloody direction. So I'll save you the tedious task of shaving off the folds and redoing them the right way. Now it makes more sense. After getting the final details on, I then need to smooth things out. I do this by using Sculpting clay softener and a soft makeup brush and lightly brush over the entire thing. Looking good enough? So off to the oven we go. While that bakes, I'm going to mix up some epoxy sculpt. I want to use this to make some bases for some little art tools, like a paintbrush, sculpting tool, etc. The epoxy sculpt is really strong, so makes a good base. And later I'll add polymer clay to do the details like bristles and such. Jazza has survived the oven with no issues. Gee, I love cos clay. But for the next bit, I'm going to switch it out for Sculpting Living Doll. Not sure this is the right one to be using for hair, but I do like the feel of it when working with it for fine details. Before I attach the clay though, I want to map out the face and hairline, and I want the face facing off to the side a bit, like he's looking at what's in his outstretched arm, which I think will be a paintbrush. Then I pre-roll some little sausages of clay, dozens of them, in varying lengths and thicknesses. I did Graveyard Loon's hair in the same manner and found it gave the hair depth and overall a good shape. It's just a matter of attaching all those sausages to the head with bacon bond. Maybe I should stop here and give Jazza a nice new bald look. Nah, better not. On top of the head, the sausages get chunkier, and that's to try and mimic Jazza's hairstyle of shorter back and sides, then longer and brushed forwards on the top, plus some sideburns. Then it's a matter of painstakingly texturing the hair, starting from the bottom and working my way so it hopefully looks like the hair is laying down in the right direction. Something I do to keep the hair texturing clean and neat is use a bit of clay softener brushed onto the clay. Then, every so often as you go, wipe the clay tool on a sculpy blob that's off to the side. This helps remove build-up from the tool. Then give it a final light brushing of clay softener. There, nice and neat. I'm feeling pretty confident at this point. Time to tackle that beard. I've drawn on the face using Jazza's avatar as a reference in order to ensure I leave enough room for facial features once the beard is baked into place. I'm treating the beard much like the hair and start attaching teeny tiny sausages of clay. It's rather fiddly work and I'm not sure this is the best way to be doing it. I probably should have watched a tutorial or something, but seems this method works for the hair. Hopefully it'll work for beards too. I'm actually pretty happy with how the beard looks. As you can see, I'm shaving those sideburns right off, and that is because I want to put on some ears. In the past, I have not been brave enough to try ears, and I just put hair over where the ears should be. But I really don't think I can get away with that here, so I'm gonna give ears a go. Hopefully I don't regret it. I watched a tutorial from Ace of Clay on how to sculpt an ear. Seems I've got no idea what to do, and I'm not willing to wing it like I did with the beard. Somehow, one ear ended up bigger than the other. I tried to adjust it, but short of cutting it off and starting again, which I know I probably should do, Jazza now has wonky ears. Hopefully this little digital art pen behind one ear will distract from wonky ears. Well, all seems in order. Time to bake again. And this time we have breakage. I should have known better than to use Sculpey for the pen. Plus before he baked he fell forward, and without me realising his moustache got squished smooth. Well, I'll fix it up later. For now, I want to move on to the back. As this sculpture is very front heavy, I'm hoping a weighty backpack of some sort filled with art supplies will help balance it out. I'm using a bag that I have in my art room, the one I painted 90 stuff on, as a reference for the shape, and I used some Hessian material to texturise it. Then attach the flaps and straps, and a few pre-baked art tools in the pockets. The backpack with all its details was a long process, but worth the extra effort, I think. I pre-baked the buckles so attaching them was a bit easier. Then in with a mop, a giant pencil, a jello packet and a bottle of red wine. All art tools from Jazza's videos. After popping on some straps around Jazza's arms, I attached the pack with armature wire. Looks pretty cool. Time to reset this mess ready for painting. Sweet! For the painting, I'm going to use my Folk Art matte acrylics. I gave the entire figurine a few coats of chalk acrylic and white, then starting with blue for jeans and maroon for the shirt. Then I mixed up a very light blonde hair colour, knowing I'd go back in later with a wash that would darken the hair significantly. After the base coat on the bag is dried, I go over it with a darker wash to bring out some of the details, and go in and paint the buckles and buttons with the metallic gold, plus give the little art tools some colour. It's very fiddly and my shaky hands do struggle a bit. I will point out I have made little alcohol markers in the side pockets with the caps off, and I know they would dry out, but they're more recognisable like this, I think. Do a darker blonde wash in a few different shades over the hair, and finally paint on a pale skin colour. Let's have a change of pace before I try and tackle the face. I want to do the base, and I've got this groovy little acrylic paint palette that I use as a template, trace it onto some thin wood stuff, cut it out and paint with white. I also use a round base painted black and a filler piece made of epoxy sculpt, and using araldite, Join the 3 pieces together to make a 3D base. Alright, now for the face. I always struggle with this. I've redrawn it on the best I can with pencil and then colour the whole thing. I always try and let the YouTuber that I'm creating influence the style the face will be. So it's not exactly Jazza's icon, but it's okay. I also don't have a rule as to what I use. Today I opted for Posca pens, and it's a bit wobbly here and there, but hey, I've done worse. With Jazza all painted, it's time to get that base looking even more 3D. Then there's just a few other bits that are needed to complete this, so why don't we just cue final details montage. So here he is, he's all completed. So yeah, he didn't turn out too badly. I had a little bit of trouble with the resin. It wasn't setting properly. I think maybe it's my UV light or the resin's gone bad. I don't know. So anyway, I ended up redoing the puddle of color just with some red paint. It's still drying because I've literally only just done it. I also gave it a coat of varnish. So any Jazza fans out there watching this, I hope I've done him justice. Doesn't quite look like Jazza. I mean, he still looks all right. Oh, and I don't know if I explained it, but this little thing here, I couldn't think of a sidekick. Like with my others, they've all got little sidekicks. I couldn't think of a sidekick for Jazza, so it's supposed to be the little chocolate sculpture he did. And he's just there sculpting away while painting, while getting ready to digital draw with all his bits and bobs in the back. He's a one-man art musician. Anyway, that's all from me. Hope to see you next time. Catch you around. Oh, I better pop him up with the others.